CNN host Van Jones is apologizing for comments he recently made on Real Time with Bill Maher. Now, Jones sparked outrage when he blamed Iran and Qatar for running a disinformation campaign to divide Americans over the war in Gaza. Let's watch.
Iran and Qatar have come up with a disinformation campaign that they are running through TikTok and Instagram that is massive. If you are a young person, you open up your phone and all you see is dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby,
right.
Diddy, dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby. Like, that's basically your whole feed.
Bashed over the weekend for those comments, and on Sunday he issued a formal apology. Writing an X quote, "I made a comment on Real Time with Bill Maher about the war in Gaza that was insensitive and hurtful. I apologize. Suffering of the people of Gaza, especially the children, is not a punchline. I'm deeply sorry it came across that way. What's happening to children in Gaza is heartbreaking." He goes on, "As a father, I can't begin to imagine the pain their parents are enduring, unable to protect their kids from unimaginable harm. I'm praying and working for an immediate end to this war and for peace and for safety for every family caught in its path. I'm truly sorry for the pain my words caused to people who are already suffering more than anyone should."
Many online accuse Jones of being insensitive and misrepresenting the issue. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen was especially critical of his comments. He says on X, quote, "I'm glad Van Jones apologized for his sick joke about dead kids in Gaza. But the problem goes deeper. He spread Netanyahu propaganda that the mass killings of civilians in Gaza, including 20,000 plus kids, is Iranian news, fake news. It's not the students and young people who are fooled, it's Van Jones."
Yeah, and that's the interesting point here. So look, Van Jones is a thoughtful guy generally. I don't want to go too easy on him, especially when this is a show today where we very much bashed a person who
joked about violence.
Yeah, didn't even joke.
Yeah,
fantasized about violence against kids. I don't think this is what Van Jones meant. He was right to apologize for it. I don't think he was trying to make light of the suffering of the people of Gaza, because he's spoken about it before, and he seems motivated by it. So I accept that on its face. I think it is wrong, usually, to assume that this is all the work of disinformation campaigns on social media. The only reason people care about this is because some foreign nation is active on social media and is trying to distort the picture of things. That sounds like Russia stuff to me, when they're like, oh, everything on social media in support of Trump is all Russian propaganda. Find out that was like a fraction of the content was actually originating in Russia. Mostly it was sincere. I would guess that that's the case with this stuff too. I also see a lot of violent content about the suffering of the Palestinian people. I don't think it's being inauthentically sent my way by foreign actors. I think it's because there is footage of it and it's terrible and people are concerned, and that's why it's going viral. I think it's almost always wrong to assume some kind of puppet master type, oh, I'm being shown this by some bad actor. No, it's going viral because people care about it. We don't usually haven't in the past had this graphic, granular detail, videos, images of people dying in war before, because social media didn't exist, during the Vietnam War, the Korean War, World War II. We see it now, and it's horrifying, and it motivates people. I don't think it's because of Iran. I think it's sincere. It's real.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't see what you see, but you see what you're getting fed.
Which is exactly what they said about Trump's support, that it was all Russia.
Right, but that
was made up too.
So and I think, look, foreign actors have weaponized social media and can weaponize social media, but I don't think that's the instance. We see so many images of what's happening. I mean, the UN has referred to this as a genocide. Marjorie Taylor Greene, to bring up a MAGA supporter, has referred to this as a genocide. These are not just images that somebody is pushing and that the American public is so dumb that they can't translucently see through and understand that this is some fake made up images. Like, this is happening so often, and the number of children and people that have been killed there is so, off the rails.
Van Jones has had such an interesting ideological development.
Well, and that's why a lot of people are critical of him, because it's kind of like you sway. Well, he just sway. It's like he sways with however the wind goes, and it's not that you can't change your perspective.
This is a very anti-left thing to say.
Right. You're more than welcome to change your perspective, but I think there's an overall view of how Western media views Arab lives. Because if we had said this about anyone else, an American person, a child, you saw how your radar this morning was about the tone of which we use of a child being heard. If we had said this about any Jewish American, if we had said this about an Israeli person, if we had said this about an American citizen, then I think that even more people would have came at him, and he would have been called for him to be fired and lose his job. And because we said it about somebody who is othered in our society as sometimes looking at them as the bad guy, maybe since 9/11, then we are looking at the whole Palestinian people and not humanizing them. And that's why we can see 20,000 people plus be killed, and some people have no reaction, some people have turned it off, and some people can say, oh, like Greta Thunberg, don't do that, whatever have you. It's like, the point is that people are there starving, dying, you're seeing children die, and it's a real issue. And wherever you fall on the issue, the human part is that if you see a child suffering like that, an innocent child, that should cause a reaction for you, not to be put in a punchline with Diddy.
Well, and it has caused a reaction. There is moral outrage
for sure.
What is happening? There is a desire of the American people to have either peace in the region, or if we can't get peace in the region, to not be involved, to not have the weapons that they purchase from us because we give them money used in this conflict. So the images have had an impact that I would say is good, because I don't really want it to continue either. So again, what's the nefarious part of it?
Well, I just think that if that joke was made about anyone else, even like you said, you're calling for this Congress person to not, this person who's running for office to not continue running. We call for people who said lesser things to lose their jobs.
Right. Well,
I don't think that people should be fired. But
about specific kids dying. Van Jones was maybe. Again, it was in service of a point that is not I do think the point is wrong, but he was not saying it from the perspective of someone who likes to see the suffering of the kids. He was saying that we see so much of it, you could almost become desensitized to it.
And my point is that I think that Van Jones went on there with his notepad in front of him and had some lines that he planned on saying, and that was his punchline that he planned on saying, and he thought about it all the night before, or maybe as he walked in or took the ride that he got to the studio, and that was going to be the good one that had made him go viral. And now you got exactly what you wanted. You went viral for the wrong reason. It is never a reason to mock or joke about children dying. And so I think that was one of those times where when you're trying to be friends with everybody on every side of the aisle always, it just smacked him back in the face, because that's not something that the average people, he said he's a father. You can see that people over there who are actually suffering would not take kindly, just like you wouldn't if it was somebody talking about your kids or an American. Wouldn't take kindly also. I mean, we talk about violence often, most recently after the death of Charlie Kirk, and the fact that his children were there. This is all something that I have said directly on this show. If you can't empathize with the fact that he has children that saw that, and something's wrong with you. And so that's my stance. And so when you are sitting on a stage and have the platform that Van Jones does, and he can't empathize with the fact that there are children who have parents or are missing parents, are going to be orphaned for the rest of their lives, and he finds it appropriate to try to make a joke in line with the Diddy trial in order so he can go viral and have a one-liner, to me that's wildly out of touch and inappropriate and dehumanizing Arab lives. And I'm just trying to figure out why that's so simple for him to do.
Next up, conservatives are blasting Bad Bunny after his Saturday Night Live monologue. We'll find out why in just a minute.